Okay, hello everyone, Master47 here, welcome. This is a weird video, but I thought I'd do a little history thing for you guys, just so that you guys know why, or the history of these animatronic stages. And yes, I built them all. Well, mostly all of them. It's a weird video, but I just wanted to do it. Hello, Essentio Pro, how are you doing? So yeah, this is a rundown on all of the stages. Possibly all the stages. Like, I probably forgot a few. Good. That is good. So, starting, the 1970s, 1977, more importantly, a pizza place opened up called Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. Now, this was at the time, the largest indoor pizza parlor in the world. I don't know where it first opened, I just know, like, the years and that. And it had something any animatronic pizza place did not at the time. Or sometime any pizza place did not have at the time. It had an animatronic show. Now, I did not include some of the characters just because, I don't know a lot about them, or I don't know them, basically. So yeah, this was the first version of the Chuck E. Cheese stage, or the animatronic stage. There were portraits, 4-foot tall portraits, hung above the walls, and you basically turn your head, be in a chair here, and you turn your head and watch the animatronics. This is a small replica, of course, but it's the best I could do on a tiny scale. I could probably do better, but... Now this had Chuck E. Cheese. Cool, thank you. It's cool, thank you. It had Chuck E. Cheese, an older version. He had a vest and a little red hat. I tried. It had Jasper T. Jowls, a banjo-playing dog, basically. Pasquale the chef, an Italian guy who he was the chef. And Krusty the cat. Now, Krusty is not known, or is not known as a character. Now, Krusty, he was replaced with Mr. Munch, I do believe he was. Replaced with Mr. Munch. He didn't survive very long in this place. I think he was replaced by Helen and then Munch. And I had these, like, applauding animals. I think it was a horse, an elephant, some kind of duck, and maybe a wolf, I'm not sure. It also had this little chandelier thing with 3 birds, or mops as well, called the Warblets. Now, they would just basically be the female vocalists at the time. Well, the Warblets were replaced with the Mopsy Sisters, and they were just basically a bunch of mops in dresses that could sing. I think this animal thing was replaced with either Helen or Munch. Now, they don't look too good, but that's the best I could do. Now, Munch replaced Krusty, and Helen replaced the animals, I think. Don't quote me, because I'm not sure. And that stage lasted from the time the company opened up in 1977 to 1991, when it was either changed or it was scrapped. Now, there are very little remnants. The show is still alive today. Very little, but I mean, on YouTube, I think if you try, you can find, like, show tapes of this stage. You can find, I think some guy actually acquired the whole show, so that's cool. So then, the place was still Pizza Time Theater. It changed its animatronics completely, well, not really completely, into the balcony stage. Now, this also is not still living to this day. It basically had the same characters, and they were basically just cut out from the paintings and were put on balconies. Again, they did not have their legs. It had Mr. Munch, Jasper T. Jowls, Chuck E. Cheese. Helen Henny I put here, but I don't think she was on the actual stage. I think near the end of its life, Helen was there, but sometimes it was replaced by, I think, 3 other animatronics, or maybe 4, and they were just basically minor characters, but are not used to this day anymore. And Pasquale, again, he's there for a while. So, and that lasted from 1979 to 2001. Where it was, I think it was all scrapped, I'm not sure. Now, in 1980, a new pizza place opened, a competitor, if you will, called Showbiz Pizza Place. And Showbiz was operating from 1980 to 1992. Now, that's the 3 stage in Showbiz. I actually labeled everything. From left to right, you had 3 stages. You had Earl and Rolf. Rolf was a wolf, a gray wolf, with a yellow hand puppet named Earl. And in the main stage, probably the most chaotic, you had a sun in the background, Duke, a brown dog who played the drums, Antioch, which was like a little spider on a string with a party hat. You had Choo Choo, a little brown bear that would go up and down in a stump. You had Fats, a gorilla playing an organ, I think it was. Beach Bear, a white bear playing the guitar on a surfboard. And Mitzi Mozzarella, basically a cheerleader mouse. Basically. And a moon in the background. Moving on, you had Billy Bob. He was a brown bear who played, I think it was a banjo, and on his guitar he had a little birthday bird. And then you had Looney Bird, basically a drunk bird in a barrel, which I have over there. Now, what is next on my list? Okay, so then Showbiz, some locations received a smaller version of the stage, which basically had Mitzi, Fats, Billy Bob, and Looney Bird. Only a handful of locations had this. And it used almost as much power as the main stage over there. And in 1994, Rolf was taken down and replaced with Uncle Clunk. Basically a guy in a chair who, basically a jokester. A big jokester. And they also had one more stage in like the 90s before Showbiz went under, but what's next on the list? Okay, I'll go from here. Now here we have the rocker stage, and it was basically in front of a house on a porch. You know, and this is when they actually started using feet for the characters. So you had Mr. Munch and Pasquale in the windows, and you had Jasper T. Jowls on a rocking chair. Chuck E. Cheese was the only one you could really see his legs, and Helen Henny was sitting. I mean, you could see their legs, but Chuck E. Cheese were the only one touching the ground. And Helen, who had a red dress at the time, was on a porch swing. Now the rocker stage, there's still only one remaining to this day. But other than that, 1987, of course. That's also when Five Nights at Freddy's 2 opened up, and the bike, but... Moving on, we had the C stage, which was... it was a porch instead of... It was a bigger porch, which it had the same characters, but Helen looked a lot more modern than what she is. Same characters, though. We had these same characters nowadays. And then Showbiz tried to have modern technology in their shows. So what they did, they made this. which basically they were called dance-atronics, which the whole stage moved, the whole stage revolved. They had platforms they were on that revolved the other. I think the stage rotated counterclockwise and they rotated clockwise. They also look nothing like what they do up there, so. Now on the main stage you had Fats, Billy Bob, and Mitzi. The right stage you had Duke, and that Duke LaRue. The whole thing revolved, and you had a TV that like played a video, and then the animatronics would act it out. And over here you had Beach Bear and Looney Bird, but rotated, and Looney Bird was in a lab coat and in like a science laboratory. Oh yeah, and Chuck E. Cheese also had cabaret stages, which they were. I don't know what they were, but they had some characters that, again, discontinued. Now, Showbiz bought off Pizza Time Theater's assets, and it was all, and they changed the name from Pizza Time Theater to Chuck E. Cheese. Now, Showbiz and Pizza Time Theater merged into one. And I think the early 90s they did that. And they created Chuck E. Cheese. Now you guys may be familiar with this. Now what they did, they didn't, Aaron Fechter, the creator of these animatronics, the Showbiz ones, refused to sell off his characters to Chuck E. Cheese, and so that's why they aren't around in Chuck E. Cheese today. However, the endoskeletons, the actual robotics for them, are here. Basically, concept unification happened and they changed them all around. So basically, Duke was turned into Pasquale, Pizza Cam was turned into Looney Bird, or Looney Bird into Pizza Cam, Jasper, Beach Bear turned into Jasper, Fats became Mr. Munch, Choo Choo became Munch Jr., Mitzi became Helen, the sun became like a building back here, and Rolf became Chucky. It's on, that tape is on YouTube, but it's split into like 3 parts. I suggest watching it. It's kind of upsetting though. So basically, yeah. They also had a little screen that they would act out. So that's the 3 stage. And that happened in, I believe, 1989. And there are like 50 some of them, or 30 some of them left. Which, good amount, but most of them aren't in very good condition. Sadly. Now, oh yeah, if you guys went to any of these locations, please say down in the comments if you feel comfortable in doing so, or like what does your Chuck E. Cheese, what stage does it have, or yeah. Now the 2 stage was in 1990, the exact year, and basically it was 1 big stage, but this counted as a split between stages. It had the same characters, but they weren't the same as the Showbiz characters. Basically, yeah, same characters, but they looked a lot different. And Chucky and Munch got their yellow hat, or green hats. Now, 1 stage is even smaller, and that was in 1993. Oh no, 1992 was the 2 stage. 1993 was a 1 stage, it was really small, it didn't have a TV, and it had the characters. They were smushed together, but some people would call it cozy. Now, this is when the downfall of Chuck E. Cheese. This is basically when Chuck E. Cheese went downhill. they created the Studio C stages, basically. Studio C Alpha only had Chucky, a TV screen, and the ticket blaster. And like, I don't know, like, a bunch of these are still left. Because that's all there is. Then you had the Studio C Alpha Beta Mix, which I think is this one. I really should have labeled them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm right. So this is Alpha Beta Mix, and basically Chucky in the middle, TV on the right, and Ticket Blaster on the left. So, same thing, almost. Studio C Beta. Now, the Chuck E. Cheese I went to had, I think it was, uh, I thought it was beta, but I'm wrong. I was wrong. Basically, Chucky, 3 TV screens, and then the Ticket Blaster. Studio C Kappa was, this is the one I had at my Chuck E. Cheese. There were 3 TV screens, and Chucky, and the Ticket Blaster was somewhere else. That was it. And then the Studio C Beta Kappa Mix was Chucky, a poster of all the characters, and 3 TV screens. And the Ticket Blaster was somewhere else. And that brings it to this day. Basically, Chuck E. Cheese is bankrupt, or going bankrupt. And then I really should have built some of the others. But I want to get this video out. There is a CU1 stage, or CU, it's a 1 stage, and it's basically the 1 stage, but the background looks a lot more colorful. Then you have the circles of light, which is the current stage that Chuck E. Cheese is using. It's basically, I want to say